And you talk about a David and Goliath matchup. Derek Ford left side.
Is Jim Halsey up for the challenge. Your number one qualifier sits on the Napa Auto Parts right-hand side of the racetrack. Your final pair in Pro Nitrous, and it's a big one.
This being the first real hot race of the season, weather-wise, how do you approach this first qualifying session? Do you throw the coals to it and see if it sticks?
It's a hot racetrack. It's going to get hotter, let's be honest. And you make changes right now. I mean, you come up, you check out the starting line, you look and see what you think the racetrack looks like. You know, right now you're making last-minute changes. You're moving weight around in the staging lanes. You can change wheelie bar height. You can change tire pressure right now. You know, you're kind of limited on your tune-up at this point with some of the way the cars are tuned with ECUs and stuff like that. But at the same time, you can make big moves in those as well. As Cam Clark and Derek Ford, your next two.
Cam Clark, the engine builder, and Derek Ford from nearby Sykesville, Maryland. Europros Collision Center 68 Camaro. For Fulton competition, late model performance, competitive wiring, and Mincer Motorsports.
Scotty, we spoke on it yesterday during Thursday testing. Derek Ward, 906 cubic inches of Fulton power on the right-hand side of the racetrack. The smallest engine in category. Does that to take a weight break, and we spoke on it earlier on hot racetracks. They sometimes get tricky. A lighter weight car is usually the advantage when it's hot outside. Cam Clark sits alongside, but I think all eyes on this one are on Derek Ford. Let's see what that smaller cubic inch engine can do. Does it propel that car down the racetrack as it needs to? It's going to have to move early in the run to match the elapsed times as some of the bigger 959 and 974s, which means that car will have to be making a hard charge to the 330-foot cone. We're going to find out right now.
Ooh. That did not sound good on the left side for Cam Clark. It actually knocked the passenger side door open.
Oh, dude, I don't have my earplugs. I hope I got some in my bag. I'm gonna have to look.
Fuck it, you can't hold the camera and do the fucking ears.
I'm gonna have to right here.
Like we talked about, it's 6 pair.
The smallest engine in the class, 906 cubic inches of Fulton horsepower, sits alongside Marcus Butner, 973 cubic inches of Pat Musey Racing Engines horsepower on the right-hand side of the racetrack.
Coming back from second round of qualifying, we were first pair down against Marcus Butner. It's qualifying, but made it off the line. Car picked the wheels up pretty heavy in the middle of the track and came down close to center line, so he had to abort the pass. But I mean, everybody else seems like they're struggling to get off start line, so I mean, it's good.
It's hot.
Good.
Actually, the sun just went away.
That's a promising sign. The car is making a lot of power.
and the team saw something they did not like on Derek Ford's side of the racetrack. The crew ran up, grabbed the power switch, and kept that car from leaving the starting line. Looks like they had some kind of fluid coming out of it, and they saved the piece right there as Derek Ford's crew saved it for the driver who was just about to make the lap that he did not need to make.
He's inching up, and a couple of us look down and see like some drops of fluid, and we're like, is that from us? We're the first pair out, so like, it's got to be from us. So I go put my fingers across it, and I'm like, that shit's wet. But it wasn't water, which kind of confused me because we've had no other issues. And so I crawl under or look down from the back, and I see a fresh puddle underneath. And so we wave off, or I start waving. Jarrell runs up to the front to tell him, but then Jalen, thankfully, because I look up, all the bulbs are lit. Like, we're literally 1 second away from trans brake release, and he goes 200. And if he's lucky, if he makes it that far.
He wasn't there.
And yeah, it was directly aligned
There's
with the
shit
tire.
underneath the front of the back tires.
Yeah,
Immediately.
it was going to be bad. It was very bad. So Jalen thankfully just shuts the car off, hits the power in the back, and shuts it down. We push him back, look at it. Out of nowhere, brake fitting's leaking, pouring out. In fact, he said he had a brake pedal, so he didn't know. We get it back here to the pits, and Alec hits the brake pedal, and it pours out like the fitting was like not even connected. So if he did make it and went 200, he'd have been stopping with the parachutes only, which is not going to slow the car down to make a turn. So we avoided
It broke a
pretty big incident.
It wasn't a loose brake fitting. It's just, I think it happened from the car slamming down before.
Yeah.
Dude, when you have a wheelie like that and you're doing 150 mile an hour and you slam it back down, like, it wasn't his fault. You just can't do nothing about that. It slammed down, and I think it disrupted, it broke it, you know, and it was inside this fitting right here. Inside, there's a, what do they call it?
Like ferrule valve, not a ferrule, but like a tube sleeve.
Yeah, there's a sleeve that goes inside that, and it was cracked in half, and it was tight, and it was pouring out of it.
Right.
So we qualified last.
Scotty, this is a big one for me right here.
And I'm pretty sure the guy on the right-hand side has it together. Jim Halsey, your #1 qualifier here this weekend, hasn't left the 360s in all 3 qualifying attempts. The Having a Grace Marathon. Yeah, you just got a one-finger heart from Jay Cox.
That's right, Jay. Jay and Tommy move on. Buddy Perkinson's moved on. Billy Albert's moved on. The big question is, does Jim Halsey move on?
And you talk about a David and Goliath matchup. Derek Ford left side from Sykesville, Maryland to Europros Collision Center, 68 Camaro, the Fulton Power Plant, but only 906 cubic inches.
This is a dangerous matchup for Jim Halsey, I feel like. Is Jim Halsey up for the challenge? Your #1 qualifier sits on the Napa Auto Parts right-hand side of the racetrack. Your final pair in Pro Nitrous, and it's a big one. Jim Halsey move forward to face Billy Albert, or does Derek Ford pull the upset? Ford rips his heart out of the starting line. Halsey shakes, it's over. Derek Ford goes all the way to the finish line first. Your #1 qualifier goes down. Derek Ford is 10 on the tree, had 50 5 numbers off the starting line. What an upset. Derek Ford right down the racetrack from the outhouse to the penthouse all the way to round number 2. Derek Ford will face off with Billy Albert.
Right side. You run around saying that shit still? With that win line here in round number 1, Preston Tanner was better to 60 foot, and he was comatose on the starting line. Travis Harvey, the normal Carolina kid, is double 06.
I think I can say I've got the unsung hero of the hour thus far here at the PDRA Race in Maryland. You go in and you've got the man of all mans, right? Jim Halsey. I know you guys have a program that's coming together. You've got a great crew over here who supported you, but how do you go into that round thinking, how are we going to beat the man?
Well, we paid attention to what he was doing all weekend. You know, we were against him at the last race we were at, and we just made the best guess we could. You know, we've been struggling. We were on the struggle bus all weekend. So we made the best guess possible, and it just worked out.
I was looking on the app, I don't remember exactly, but I believe it was like a 10 to a 60 something, so I can't say anything about being lucky or right place, right time. You did your job there. They did not execute. How cool was it to just be with your team after that? Because I got to see what you didn't see, them going absolutely berserk.
Oh, it's the best feeling. I don't really think it's settled in yet. You know, I got down the other end, I said, oh, I won. You know, so I don't think it's settled in yet, so hopefully it will eventually.
Drag racing is, I just said this to Mr. Franklin earlier, we come out here with more opportunities to lose than you have win. You've got 4 opportunities to go really screw up and get things done. I don't think people at home or even in the grandstands understand how important every single round win that was. All of them are important, but I know in your career that probably was a big one.
It was a big one. You know, we have the team meetings every day about how important it is for everybody to do their job, and they did it on the last one. I can't say enough for my crew and my brother and Alec, you know, tuning his car this weekend. It's just amazing.
Well, good luck. I know we're all rooting for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
We came out off the trailer on Thursday morning and ripped off a 74, which was, I think, the second fastest of that session. But after that, it kind of went to hell in a handbasket. So we qualified last. We had Jim Halsey, which is the baddest dude in Nitrous Racing, the fastest Nitrous car ever. And we beat him in round 1, which is a huge upset. So we're going to round 2 with Billy Albert, and all these guys in this class are fast, man. I mean, you cannot underestimate anybody. So it's really, really hot. It's really tricky. The car barely made it down right there and it went a 76. So it's the tuning is you have to pay real good attention to it with wheel speed and stuff, because the track's hot and greasy. It was 130 degrees last time. I mean, you're trying to go bottom 9, you know, 0.92 60 foots, I should say. It ain't happening at 130 degrees. Like 960 is like all it's got, and that's a big difference between the two, to be honest. Right. Huge difference. Yeah. So we were like one of the fastest 60-foot cars of that session. But you know, we're gonna pick at it, and hopefully we can get after it a little bit in this round and see what we can do.
Go right here.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time to turn this thing on out. Pro Nitrous round number 2, Derek Ford and Billy Albert. Derek Ford, the giant killer, is going to be the first pair out this round.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is a pretty important matchup right here between Billy Albert and Derek Ford. Billy's going to try to probably go A to B right here. Needs to get this round win. This is a big round win for either of them, as they will get the bye to the finals. A real important win right here.
So as he just spoke on, a 2-for-1 in this first opening pair of Schweitzer Dynamics Pro Nitrous machines.
Scotty, Chevy, Jason, this is going to be a big one. This is not really the matchup that you expected to see when you looked at it on paper. The hometown runner, Derek Ford, pulled off the massive upset in round number 1. He's back on the core side, left-hand side of the racetrack, and he's going to try to take down Billy Albert. Can the last man on the qualifying sheet go to the final round here at the North versus South Shootout. Side of the racetrack. It's time. Ford is red. Throws it away. Billy Albert has to lift out of the pedal. Derek Ford throws away a 372. Billy Albert says you can do it all by yourself on that side. I'm going to take the win light on this side. Billy Albert goes to the semis, and it is a 2-4-1. You'll see the Withville, Virginia-based Camaro in the final.
Sit down.
Sit down, man. Sit on the unit there. So, just let them know what went down.
What went down?
Yeah, fucking red light went down. That's what went down.
Yeah. But back up. Thursday, we missed the first test.
We got here Wednesday night.
We got here
to
Wednesday
make
night.
Thursday morning.
When we set up test 2, for the first time ever, we just make an 8th mile hit, full hit, straight out the trailer.
Which no one
Right
ever
now.
does, by the way.
Yeah.
Does, by the way.
Yeah. And usually run it to 330, make sure everything's like good, nothing's changed. You know,
Make sure you don't burn the pistons out.
You're not
Right.
On Thursday morning.
Right. Test 2, right on down, 74. We were guessing like a 72, not bad. It's hot out, it's hot as hell. Everybody's slow. Really a couple fast passes here and there.
It's high 60s right now. I bet a 66 when the sun goes down, probably win the whole thing. 67 maybe. I don't know. 65 to 67.
Right.
And so after that, I went to hell in a handbag.
Yeah, we just down. We made one full hit. Everything was good, and then all of a sudden, just trash.
Bottles are full of air.
The bottles are full of air.
Got a bad mother bottle or something.
Yeah, something that was just had no power. Is that the one that wheelied, or we wheelie after
No,
that?
wheel it after.
Then
Well,
that-
no.
Yeah, 2 more. We had
Yep.
fixed the bottle issue. Don't know what that it was.
And it shook.
Just new bottles. Next one, all of a sudden we got a bunch of power and shakes. And then the pass after that, motherfucker gets out and freaking wheels.
Marcus Buckner tire shake. Big time wheel stand out of Derek Ford right there.
Dude, when you have a wheelie like that and you're doing 150 mile an hour and you slam it back down, like, it wasn't his fault. You just can't do nothing about that. It slammed down, and I think it broke it, you know? And yeah, there's a sleeve that goes inside that, and it was cracked in half. And it was tight, and it was pouring out of it.
Right.
So, we qualified last.
Yeah.
And then we had the baddest dude in the world in Nitrous, like, literally the fastest Nitrous car ever. Halsey never loses. He's the leader of points right now. And I'm like, man, fuck. You know? And we put something in it that we thought would go a little faster than 76, but we didn't have a scoop on it because we had a problem with the fucking scoop hanging the throttle open at the very first pass. So we took the scoop off because we changed some stuff with the scoop and stuff. So we ran out to the store after we won, and doctored that up. Go back up, that second pass and made a really good lick. And won a 72. Car looked beautiful. The motor was not tore up at all this weekend. Can't believe it.
Right.
And he went red. But it is what it is. He just needs some more T-time competition. And we need to test this car, man. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is a finicky bitch. Like,
Mhm.
I've never had a car this finicky. The motor sits way different. It's just, it's a different engine combination. It's just, it doesn't have a lot of lap on this combo. So it's really light because we can be light because it's a smaller cubic inch in the class. And whenever you have a lighter car, it's very, very funny. But it runs good in the sun because you don't have a bunch of weight trying to get it to move.
Right.
So we're learning, but we would have made it to if we won right there. We beat that other car, no problem. But if he would have went green and won, we would have had to buy this round into the finals. So we would have made it to the finals. But it is what it is, man.
Yeah, it happens. You know.
Redemption from last, or not the last race. We didn't make the last race, but the race before that, UP, we raced Halsey first round again. I think we were first pair on that one though, right?
Second round, first pair.
Yeah.
We raced Halsey, second round, and that's when we tore it up. Parachutes came out by accident, like all kinds of stuff. Just
Got ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So redemption, we took him out, put him on the trailer first round. He had lane choice, everything, and we had absolutely zero passes. He was number one, top ET. He qualified number one. We were in last, and
He was making it down every fucking run.
We were only in because there wasn't 16 cars here. There was, what, 13? 12 or 13? So,
Yeah. But I will say at this level, when you go number one qualifier or really good in qualifying, it can turn to shit in the rounds because you get a little. I'm not saying he did this, but I'm just saying it happens to everybody. You get a little comfortable, or you just don't think it out, properly or whatever it might be, and you don't always make it to the end. A lot of times, the last guy in that class in Pro Mod can win because this isn't a bottom contender car, even though we were last, and a lot of times that happens. World Series last year, there's a guy that barely made it in qualifying. There's 60 cars, only 32 car field. He made it in the last qualifier and won the whole thing. So that's Pro Mod racing, man. It comes down to a tree. And
Right.
It's tough. It's the toughest racing there is.
Yep.
It's not like radio racing at all. That shit is so spread out usually. This is best of the best. This is better than NHRA in my opinion. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
for sure.
we're doing it ourselves. Jack and I, mainly tune it, and we got Bob and Derek's driver, and does everything else as well with the camper and trailer and maintenance on the car. And
Yeah.
I mean, to put it this way, I spent a whole week down at Fulton's last week putting these motors together because they were tore from last race. And they needed sleeves, so we need to go to South Carolina. I flew back and then back down. I flew back to tune cars and flew back down and then flew back again. It's just a lot, man. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
4 or 5 guys that have full-time jobs.
It's hard
His
to
other
make it.
guys that race out here have full-time employees only
They work
for
on the
cars.
cars. There's other car I tuned, Craig Sullivan. He's got 2 full-time employees working on his car in between races. We do it ourselves.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah. It's
Ryan's
just-
still in.
Yeah.
Super Street.
We're gonna
I got
walk
him
up
at
there.
hand, and
Yeah.
We're gonna go up there and watch him.
Yeah. I'll have my phone, so we'll get a clip for y'all. But yeah, I got a clip from him last night, or was it last night or earlier today? He was driving that thing, dude.
Earlier today, he was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, that's gonna be a wrap for us this weekend.
Yes, sir.
But we'll see y'all back at the shop.